Greetings, citizens of the galaxy. Welcome to Swtor Gaming.
Your destiny lies with me.
Who we truly are is defined by our actions.
You guys probably know the Freddie Prinze Jr. rant has been going on. I would like to give my thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe so you can get all my information. I'm getting over the cold, so it's going a little bit better. But I would like to listen to it along with you guys, and then we'll talk about it.
I did a Star Wars cartoon, so even I get hate from Star Wars fans when I'm like, look, dog, you just mad the franchise isn't aging with you.
Right.
But that ain't how it works. The first one was for kids.
Right.
The second three were for different kids, and this one is for kids. You just pissed off that Han Solo gave the Millennium Falcon to a girl.
Yeah.
That's it. Because Luke Skywalker is Cinderella. Or Sleeping Beauty, okay? He can talk to things that don't speak English and understands what I'm saying. He gets a fairy godfather instead of a fairy godmother who teaches him how to be the best Jedi in the world in no time flat. And everybody, like, I know more about the Force than most people because Dave Filoni taught me and George Lucas taught him. And all these video games that people up on what the Force is. Like, Luke's skill doesn't dictate whether he wins or loses.
Right.
The Emperor doesn't dictate whether he wins or loses. The Force dictates who wins or loses based on balance. And here's the quick version on how to explain it to all these people who think they get to decide. In the first, if you want to do this like time-wise, Palpatine, you would say, and Yoda are the smartest too. Palpatine clearly smarter because Yoda was blind to the power of the dark side and the seduction of Anakin. So let's talk about the seduction of Anakin Skywalker for a second. If the Emperor is the smartest dude in the universe and knows that the Force dictates this, if he kills who he sees as a rival, Anakin, then he knows the Force is correct that because the Emperor knows this. These are George Lucas's words, not mine. Straight up, this is information, not affirmation time. Straight up, man. So the Emperor knows that. So instead of killing Anakin, what does he do? He seduces Anakin to double the strength of the dark side. So then what does the Force do? It balances us. How? It gives us twins, Luke and Leia, 2 balance. And if you look at the movie through just that simple perspective, you will not only know why every single bad guy loses and every single good guy loses, you'll know who's gonna win and lose in the next movies. I can tell you, I just don't want to wreck it. People about the junk like it's archetype characters. This is George Lucas's words. There is no Jack Bauer in Star Wars. That character doesn't exist. It's not Han Solo. Han Solo's a reluctant hero, okay? He's a reluctant hero. That's the archetype. Darth Maul, who everybody wants to win, and he's everyone's favorite because he looks sick and he's great in the video game. You guys, he's Sisyphus. He is born to fail. Learn your Greek mythology like, I don't know, George Lucas did. He's cursed to roll a boulder up the hill only to have it roll to the bottom again every single time for eternity. That is Darth Maul's quest. He's in on the joke, you guys. He knows it. He's just cursed to live that life. Again, not my opinion, George Lucas's. So go self if you disagree. You don't get to level up in the Star Wars world. That's a video game. There's no such thing as a gray Jedi. Qui-Gon even says, I turn towards the light because it's there. There's no gray. There's no, that's pretend fan fiction, which is cool, but don't try to canonize it because it doesn't work. And I'm never gonna buy it, ever. Star Wars is for kids. Sorry. I'm sorry, man.
That was incredible.
Alright, we just heard what Freddie Prinze Jr. had to say. I wanted to give my thoughts on it. I actually been talking about this for some time in different groups and things like that. The whole idea of the Grey Jedi was flawed, and it comes from a misunderstanding of Qui-Gon Jinn. You know, he was referred to as a Grey Jedi, so people just made up all these things. But he was referred to as a Grey Jedi, and you find this out if you read the Master and Apprentice novel, because his whole ideology was unclear to the Jedi High Council at that time. You know, their ideas were just on serving the Republic, and the Jedi High Council, as you guys remember, if you watch the Clone Wars, if you read the stories and materials, they were so deep involved into politics that they weren't servants of the Force, which actually wouldn't make Qui-Gon a Grey Jedi, it would make him a true Jedi, because he didn't care about the politics. He didn't care so much about serving the Republic. He actually hated them, which is why in Attack of the Clones, Count Dooku actually says to Obi-Wan, if your master were alive, he probably would be joining me. And Obi-Wan says he doesn't believe that, but the truth of the matter is, Qui-Gon also hated politics, just like Dooku. Which is ironic, because Dooku actually left. If you read the Dooku Jedi Lost novel, you find out his backstory, which is amazing too, so I recommend that. He left because of politics, to become the Count of Sereno, to fulfill his personal destiny. So, what Freddie Prinze Jr. actually is saying is 100% true. The Force is about balance. The Sith realized this way long ago, and that's why Darth Bane realized that he created the Ruler 2, because he realized that as long as there were many, many Sith, that they would be weak. And he saw the system in place and realized it was weak. But they could eventually beat the Jedi if they had one person that would always embody all the power throughout the ages, and that eventually like the Palpatine. So Palpatine, like Freddie Prinze Jr. says, he knew. He even says it in Revenge of the Sith to Yoda. He says, one day Lord Vader will be stronger than us all. He realized that Vader would be his rival. So instead of killing him, he pretty much led him to his downfall at Mustafar. Remember, you guys got to remember, who sent him to Mustafar? Palpatine sent him to Mustafar. He sent him to Mustafar because he already knew, and even Anakin actually talks about when he says to Padme, he says, I will be stronger than the Chancellor. I will kill him and we can rule the galaxy together. Now I'm paraphrasing, but that's exactly what he said. So you all have to realize this is all part of the plan. Palpatine being stronger, Darth Sidious being stronger and being smarter, he realized that with this prodigy's growth, that one day he would be more powerful than Darth Sidious. So what he decided to do was set him into a trap with his emotions all distracted. He could not be strong. This is why Obi-Wan was actually his equal. You think Obi-Wan would be strong, but Obi-Wan's connection to Force has always been weaker. But he just practiced a lot. Anakin's mind is in 25 different directions because look at all the things he's been doing. So his emotions, so he can't focus and draw on the Force as much. So that's why he and Obi-Wan were about equal. Palpatine, again, being as smart as he is, he kind of knew this. And then he encased him in a suit and made him his slave. The reason Vader was so scared, even in Return of the Jedi, of Palpatine is because he goes, you have no idea how powerful he is. You don't no idea how scary he is. And we found out more in the new canon comics that even after that, he was planning to throw him away and replace him with one of many of Silo's augmented cybernetic creations, even Mon Calamari, General Grievous type. Being that is as it is, going back to what Freddie Prinze Jr. is saying, the Force is about balance. You still have two. Now, going into Episode 9, you have Leia and you have Rey, and the two dark sides, obviously, are Sidious, who's returning in some form or another, and Kylo Ren. So the Force, again, is about balance. Just balancing itself out. If one side gets too strong, just like the light was too strong, and guess what? The Sith rose. And then, because the Sith rose and it was too strong, the Force, again, wanted balance. So, out of darkness came two creatures of light. Leia and Luke, twins. He breaks it down very easy. And again, powerful light, powerful dark. Snoke talks about that in Episode 8. As Kylo Ren was rising, his equal in the light would be rising, which was Rey. You had Snoke and you had Luke. Snoke's gone, so is Luke. One-on-one. Now you got, going into Episode 9, like I said, you got Sidious and Kylo Ren, and then you have Rey and Leia. Now Carrie Fisher passed away, so eventually we're going to see something maybe happen in that movie. Maybe we'll just get a nice homage to Carrie Fisher, a nice goodbye for the rest of us from her. So, looking at all these things, his rant is spot on. And it's easy for true Star Wars fans to be really, really upset at all these other fans that don't get it, who haven't got it. And it's like he says, we're a lot of fans that are really upset with the new direction of Star Wars don't realize that it's always been for children. It was for children when you were young in that age, seeing those stories. And Luke grew. So in episode 8, the Luke you saw, you're like, wait, he wasn't like that before. So many years had gone by. You have to understand the reason why these stories are made for children is because children have the ability to, they have their imagination unlocked, so they can believe in anything. What did George Lucas create these movies for? It was for them to believe. He wanted a generation of people that believe something bigger than themselves, something out there, something like a force of good, which he of course named the Force. They wanted to believe in something that connects us all, whether, whatever race you are. He wanted a bunch of children to believe this. And it was something very positive, right? Something outside ourselves. So he created this whole entire galaxy for us to imagine and play in. So our inner child comes out. Now, the reason why these aren't for adults is because as you get older, the cynicism of reality sits in. So then your society tells you, you can't do this, you can't do that, you're not capable of this, you're not capable of that. So then we become more defined, and our expectations of reality are a lot less. What we can possibly believe that is possible becomes limited. Whereas children believe they can be anything. You ask kids, I remember when I was a child, everyone just wanted to be an astronaut. I remember we drew pictures about what the Earth would look like in the year 2000. And people had flying cars, we did time capsules, all kinds of things like that. But as you get adult, you kind of realize, that was, considering we don't have flying cars yet, it was kind of foolish, right? Because through the lens of an adult, those flights of fantasy are only things that children would think of, right? Because children have the power of imagination. And that power of imagination, the power of infinite possibilities that exist within children, are the reasons why the Star Wars movies are geared towards children. Now, some of us adults can also enjoy it as well. There's other things in there that we can enjoy. But ultimately, they are geared for children. So these are my thoughts on the Freddie Prinze Jr. rant. It was a great rant, and I'm glad. Actually, my big brother Prince over the Urban Acolyte has been saying these same things. So if you are subscribed to my channel and you also want someone else to talk about Star Wars, Prince and Urban Acolyte has been doing this for a long time and bringing in the Tao, or teaching the knowledge, of Star Wars. And it's one of the reasons that I started my channel. But thank you guys for sticking around. I will try to have more stuff coming soon. My voice is getting a little better, but I still have ways to go. So I don't know if I'll be fully recovered. So I have a lot of things in the works I want to do. Eventually we'll maybe do some live streams. I'll probably moving towards discussing more things that are going on in the Star Wars galaxy. I will also probably do Mandalorian when the Mandalorian drops. I'll be doing an after show, probably doing a video on every single episode, maybe a live stream. So we'll see how that goes. Till then, may the force of your will further your destiny.